Russia has just taken a bold step that has shocked the international community. According to Jane's Defense Weekly and the Korea Herald, Moscow has handed over a submarine nuclear reactor to North Korea, a gift that could alter the balance of power in East Asia. The report states that the transfer was conducted secretly through Vladivostok port, using Russian military cargo vessels disguised as civilian shipments. South Korea's Yonhap news agency reported that Seoul's intelligence detected a massive cargo movement heading toward North Korean waters, suspecting it to be nuclear technology. Analysts believe the operation took weeks of preparation, involving Russian engineers and technicians who provided on-site guidance. This move is widely believed to be Russia's reward to Pyongyang, after North Korea supplied millions of artillery shells, rockets, and short-range ballistic missiles used by Moscow in the war in Ukraine. The Guardian wrote that this barter-style alliance has tightened the military ties between two isolated regimes, allowing Moscow to bypass Western sanctions while giving Pyongyang access to technology it could never develop alone. History shows that the Russia-North Korea relationship is nothing new. During the Soviet era, Moscow supplied MiG-21 fighter jets, T-55 tanks, and Romeo-class submarines to Pyongyang. These weapons formed the backbone of North Korea's military for decades. Now, the transfer of a submarine nuclear reactor marks a new escalation in their strategic partnership. It represents not just conventional aid, but the crossing of a threshold into nuclear naval technology. A submarine nuclear reactor is an extremely sensitive and dangerous component. With this technology, submarines can operate underwater for months without surfacing, making them very hard to track by radar or satellites. According to Naval Technology Review, only a handful of elite nations, the US, Russia, China, the UK, France, and India, possess nuclear submarines. If Pyongyang manages to master this technology, it would become the 7th nation in the world with such capability. If North Korea succeeds in integrating this reactor into their submarines, Pyongyang could achieve second-strike nuclear deterrence. This means that even if their land-based nuclear sites were destroyed in a first strike, they could still retaliate with submarine-launched nuclear missiles. This ability would completely change the strategic calculation for the United States, South Korea, and Japan. However, the technical challenges are enormous. North Korea does possess Sinpo-class submarines and several experimental models, but none have successfully operated a nuclear propulsion system. Jane's Defense Weekly emphasized that without Russian engineers' assistance, Pyongyang has little chance of operating the reactor effectively. Experts from the Diplomat also noted that the Sinpo-class hull may be too small to house a full reactor, meaning North Korea may need a brand new submarine design. Still, Moscow has every reason to provide more than just hardware. Russian technicians could train North Korean crews, while Russian blueprints might guide Pyongyang in constructing larger submarines. If this happens, the Korean peninsula could see its first nuclear-powered vessel within a decade. From a military perspective, this step carries immense risks. The United States has warned through a Pentagon press briefing that such a nuclear technology transfer violates UN sanctions and will be met with strong responses. Washington has already begun discussions with Tokyo and Seoul on expanding trilateral naval exercises aimed at anti-submarine warfare. NATO too assessed that Russia's move is not just assistance, but a deliberate strategy to create a second front in East Asia that could distract Washington from the war in Ukraine. The global impact could be massive. If North Korea successfully develops nuclear submarines, Japan and South Korea will likely accelerate their armament programs. Discussions about acquiring their own nuclear weapons, once taboo, may gain momentum. The New York Times wrote that Northeast Asia may be pushed closer to a nuclear domino effect, where one country's buildup sparks the others to follow suit. China's role adds another layer of complexity. Beijing has traditionally been Pyongyang's main sponsor, but a Russian-North Korean nuclear cooperation could dilute China's influence. Some Chinese analysts, quoted by Global Times, expressed concern that Russia is arming North Korea too quickly and could destabilize the region in ways that even Beijing cannot control. Meanwhile, Japan has already responded. Tokyo announced through NHK World News that it would accelerate the deployment of long-range cruise missiles and strengthen its alliance with the United States. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol declared that Seoul will not remain silent if North Korea advances nuclear submarine technology, hinting at preemptive measures. Beyond East Asia, Europe is also watching carefully. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg warned that Russia's cooperation with North Korea represents a globalization of nuclear threats. For Washington, this development means that its military must now prepare for simultaneous crises in both Europe and Asia. The risks of proliferation are alarming. Once North Korea obtains advanced reactor designs, there is the danger of Pyongyang selling this knowledge to other rogue states in exchange for cash or oil. BBC defense correspondent Jonathan Beale pointed out that North Korea has a history of exporting missile technology to countries like Iran and Syria. Nuclear naval technology could be next. Ultimately, the world is now facing an increasingly dangerous situation. The transfer of nuclear technology is not just about weapons, but about the balance of global power that can shift at any moment. If unchecked, this partnership could open the door to a new Cold War dynamic, one where Russia uses North Korea as a proxy to challenge U.S. influence in Asia. This is a new chapter in Russia-North Korea relations, a chapter that could reshape East Asia and perhaps the world. What do you think about this bold move? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest military geopolitics analysis.